So welcome everyone to the 223rd. Am I right? Am I right here? 222nd. No, that doesn't seem right.
If I
Wait.
can't tell what day it is, I don't think I can count anymore.
Must
I
have
can
miscounted.
see it. It's the 2nd of June. I can look at my right side. It says there.
All right. Apparently, we're only
I
at the
think that's
200.
right.
We are at 222. Woo!
Well, yeah.
On number 2. So
Goldie,
welcome.
we have a picture for you to put in the Aggie.
Sure. Welcome to the 222nd weekly MLP Drawing School live critique stream thingamaflop. Whatever this is, I don't know yet.
You know,
Maybe.
art and ponies.
Definitely ponies.
Definitely a pony fever dream. Got it. As you can hear, we got the ever alley claw.
My hello.
As though alley's like a verb or an adjective.
I'm many things. I'm a dark place you don't want to be in. I'm your friend. You know, who knows what it is on what day.
A dark place I don't want to be in.
I mean, Batman's parents got
album.
killed inside. That this is just getting weird. Move on, please.
Yeah, hey Fluffy's eye. Who's not here? I mean
Is Fluffy's eye
CPC.
here?
No.
Hi. I'm not Fluffy's eye.
You're like Fluffy's
I'm
eyes
a mouse.
as far as Fluff
No.
goes.
No, I'm clearly the fluff master. He has a lot to learn.
I think you two should have a fluff off.
Yes.
So we're gonna give you both a baseline horse, and you have to fluff it. And we'll give you style points for like density of fluff, clarity of fluff, uniqueness of fluff.
He just has fluff stars, fluff circles, fluff spirals, fluff spiral circles.
Yeah,
We have someone else to introduce.
yeah, we do. There's a pixie nope down at the bottom.
Hello. Good morning.
I think
It's cold. It's way too cold. So please help.
Have you thought of footy pajamas?
No.
They're warm.
No.
Just
There's
believe in them.
here. It's amazing. It's summer over here. It's great.
All right.
Except the fireplace. They go to my window and just want to hang around there all night. And it's like, I want to sleep, please.
When the airport's open again, I'll come over. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It might be winter by then.
Like next year.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
And of course, we have our every episode. They are lovely. The host of The Living Dead, which is The Living Dead.
I swear this virus wasn't my fault this time.
Sure. Tell it to the courts, buddy.
You're under arrest.
Stop right there, criminal scum. Alright, let me just stick this horse on. The most unique OC.
It's definitely a pony.
Definitely a pony.
Definitely a pony.
Paste file. Ah, that's how we do it. Ah! There it goes. Oh, we're gonna put it right there, under swooshies.
Swooshies.
I'm gonna scribble all over this pony.
I mean, we do that to every pony.
That's kind of a thing.
Hold space. There it is. All right, Plum. This wonderful creature belongs to you. Where?
No.
Well,
It belongs to all of us.
it lives in our hearts and in the
Exactly.
closet, staring out at you late at night.
We need a plushie of it. Her? Dumb.
Them.
Pony.
It's
There's no good color.
we could go to the same plushie maker that made floor 5.
Yes.
That was actually inexpensive. I think that was $100.
Yeah, that was a deal for how strange floor 5 is.
Are we doing this one first?
We're doing this one first, the one at the bottom right hand.
Yeah.
I don't know which color to use.
Me neither.
Black.
The outlines are black.
I guess red's gonna be the easiest.
There,
Dark blue, maybe.
maybe we can just put a layer.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's. Oh, who decided that's the right idea? Okay, so
It's a struggle. We just started.
we'll get over it one year. Oh, hi, DJ David. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
Oh, why hello.
To be fair, this is an issue that we made ourselves.
We dug this grave.
Might
Let's
have
eat our way
been.
out.
Yeah.
How can I prove hard shadow placement, and is there anatomy things you would change about it? The reference that you used, because I think there is only, like, there's the primary one, and then Fluffy made one too. So there were a few references to base it off of. I believe you're drawing this at the same time the main was being drawn, and it did have these comically stretched proportions, like it was some type of snake creature.
Yes, that is. It's a long cone.
Long. Very long.
So your stretch proportions make sense. Your legs, they also make sense how they're placed. I would move this one back just a bit, just for how it doesn't appear the front's turned enough to really warrant it being that far out. So I just, underlap it.
Yeah, and that distance matches the back leg as well.
There's a lot going on in this. Oh, fluff. So shadows. How can I improve the hard shadow placement? Deciding a light source off the start is my best suggestion I have for that. When you choose the light source, draw it on your paper. Honestly, that's the only way I can ever keep track of these things. I will literally put a mark. For most of the traditional I do, I will even stick a light shaded mark, just something to indicate light is over here and it casts, directions. Woo.
They said theirs was to the top left and a bit to the back.
So like behind? Okay.
Oh. Oh my god, we have multiply now. I can just add layers if I feel like it.
2 times 2. 3 times 3.
Oh, hello, Gallon.
Oh, hi, Gallon. Yeah, so using a light source that you place is going to help you reference that back to how you're dropping all of your lights. Now, how you drop your shadows and how you do your highlights, really that's up to however you like your flow going. I often do shadow, like dark to light, so I'll place down all my shadows and then work backwards from that to light. Only because it's much easier for me to put down dark colors than light colors on traditional drawings.
It's always difficult doing shadows because no matter where you place your light source, if you draw the shadows entirely as they actually are, you're probably going to get some places that you don't quite want or expect or whatever. Like you've got this back of the thigh and leg down here, and same thing for down here. But then this, like the same side of the face is completely in light, and this area instead is in shadow. Whereas like if you're following the lighting that those areas are in, you'd probably have a bit more shadow running down along this sort of like an area around here, just because it's opposite the light source. What I tend to do is when I'm looking at improving my lighting, I throw out everything that's more complicated than a sphere, a box, and I'll just do up like a page of like boxes. Exactly the same as this, just a whole page of them. And then I will position my light source, draw out where sort of the lines are, and then try to shade that object, that basic shape appropriately. And then, as I go around the page, I'll do exactly the same thing. But, move the light source behind, maybe tilt it down a bit, and see how it changes. And then doing that like over and over helps me when I'm trying to then, light this sort of a sphere shape. Like, where's light source? How do I roughly do that? This kind of a cylinder shape. Where does the light sort of fall on that if the light source is all the way over here? Starting with the basics and then using that as in sort of the building block, as part of like the building blocks of the painting, really helps me out.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really cool. I like it.
It is a beautiful beast, and you did it such beautiful justice.
It was pretty impressive to see how quickly you stamped that out following them. Like, it was...
Really, though?
It's always a good challenge to draw fast.
If I remember, you did one too, Zamzam, and it was pretty beautiful, too.
Nice. It was...
It was.
Oh, we got one submitted by DJ David.
Ooh, nice.
Alright, you got any follow-up questions there?
Yeah, he's got some stuff.
Alright. Definitely keep drawing. It was nice seeing you pump out some more pictures.
Yeah. I know, it's kind of crazy, right? You never think you can do something until you just, like, get down to it and do it. And it's like, whoa, I pumped out that sketch in, like, no time.
That's why I really like the draw-alongs. They just force you to do something.
Put on some copyrighted music and, art off to it. Let's get down to copyrights.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to forget about what it's gonna the finished product is, and sometimes you just need to, like, just do something. Doesn't matter what the finished product is, as long as you're doing something.
No.
Because then usually by the end you're like, whoa, I just did this. I did this.
I did this. Stick it up on the fridge.
If I had a working printer, oh, my fridge would be covered again.
Stupid
I'll print them
inkjets.
for you and send them.
Yes.
I love no love for no copyright sounds music, eh? That involves effort, so not much love.
I did once find an app called Pretzel that only plays copyright-free music.
I miss pretzels.
You can bake them. They're pretty easy.
They
I
were
need
easier
yeast.
when they came like already just frozen, and all I had to do was throw them in the oven and wait 20 minutes.
Fair. All right, DJ. What do you got? I've got something I like critiqued for the body and face shape and their interaction with the beanbag chair. It's Trixie curled up on a beanbag chair, in case you're wondering which one we're doing.
Yeah.
I might have lost my window.
It should be on the side of your house.
That's right, there's a window there. Oh no, there's a firefly there. Please go away.
So I'm interested in how this beanbag chair is shaped. Is it like from the side view, it'd be going like way out the front and then back, and just sort of like a L? Because the way you've placed her is basically she's sitting flat on it, like perpendicular to the surface.
It
body.
definitely looks like one of those beanbag chairs that has like a dip designed into it, or like a more firm back or something along those lines. I one thing I want to point out with the body is around here you got this little bump. I love it. That's my favorite thing ever that anybody has ever drawn. I love it.
Ever?
Yeah,
Huh.
that's good. It just feels good.
Little touches like that are so nice. Like you don't need a lot sometimes. Sometimes the littlest like hint of something can really just build that picture.
I do like the way you've shaped your face. I think this is kind of the point in terms of like your face shape. This is kind of the point where just different artists have different styles. In terms of like the way it's structured and all that sort of stuff, you can maybe like bring the cheek up a little bit, but in general, probably just looking around at different artists and how they do their stuff to sort of see whether you want to pick up anything from their styles would be really helpful to you, I think. I kind of like to focus on one thing at a time, like, you know, see how different artists do their horns, and then, you know, spend a few days just practicing horn designs. Same thing with like ears and muzzles from different angles and stuff like that, because there's so many different ways you can draw everything.
Oh, this was my roof. Yeah. If I was to try and place her on that, I think I would have moved her further back into it, raised up where she is on it, so it actually appears to be more flat, not like L-shaped. And I would have buried a part of her under the squishy surface of it, because you sink into beanbag chairs. At least all the beanbag chairs I've had are so broken in, you just sort of like into it. Then you gotta get a crane to hoist yourself out. I don't know if that's your situations.
Every beanbag chair I've had except my own personal one, I've just like went right to the floor. Mine, I just kind of like got lost inside of it because it was very big. I was very small.
It's interesting with like bean bags and stuff, because when you like fill up enough of it, you get like the tension around it. It stops being like soft and you know, squishy, and it starts being like, you know, everything's pulled in really tight, and so you get these like really interesting contours going across it, like really illustrate the shape.
Is any of this helping, DJ?
Trixie is a sleepy penny, just like me. I'm sleepy because it's morning, and the birds are being very loud.
You should tell them it's winter and they need to go hibernate somewhere else.
Yep. Unfortunately, most of them are plovers, so they'll come and attack me if I do that. Yeah. The good thing is that all our files, you can watch it on YouTube later when it's not laggy.
Leggy on the eggy.
unless there has been problems with the stream again.
No, it's successfully
a backup
recording right now.
Yes, with the recording, not with the stream. I guess the stream's already having problems because it's laggy.
Alright, let's move on to our next one then. Ooh, that's... Every time I hit control, it always moves to the wrong one. What the heck? Eggy's weird. Yes, top left-hand corner.
See the arrow.
Woo.
This one is by New. Finally pushing myself to learn process. Or poses, not process. And all critique is appreciated. Hey, poses are great fun. I think we even have a pose challenge in our weekly or bi-weekly challenges. I have to double check. There's a few of them.
It'll definitely be one of them.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
it's one of the previous ones, yeah. I like this. I like the pose. It's really cool.
So you've gone
I think
for... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, the one thing that sticks out to me is this point right here, where this and this intersects. A good way to think about this whole shape here is it's basically just showing off the contours of like the neck. You've got sort of the middle of the neck up here, goes down, and this point is also the middle of the neck. Whereas, yeah, as drawn, it should sort of be kind of more over here. So what I'd do, yeah, exactly, something more like this. Boom, boom. Shows the twisting a little bit more, and is a place between the two shoulders.
I think it's supposed to be a necklace.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Oh, that's still my. If it's a necklace, that's still my suggestion for the necklace.
Oh, totally. I'm just trying to figure out what it was supposed to be. Like if it's supposed to be like a different transition on them, or
I thought it was just the separation between the neck and the body.
the legs are quite long, but at least they're all consistently long, so it's not actually an issue.
Mm.
It's weird when they turn into like a drag racer where they have massive back legs and very short front legs. I do like your wings. They are not overly detailed, but they definitely get the point across of being large feathered things.
So many feathers. Ah. So fuzzy.
Horses gotta fly.
And say overall, for just experimenting with poses, this is a pretty good call. I mean, you can keep pushing it further, get more defined in it, or you could just pump out like 30, 40 poses and be like, aha, I'm making a pose catalog. That's also good.
That's a really good thing, is just to do a bunch.
Then you
Practice
put them
bunch,
on the
experiment bunch.
YCH commissions and do some YCHs.
Is this how you're going to pay your way through the world?
I hope
Thousands of
so.
poses. Night, DJ.
Have a good one, DJ.
Bye bye.
Ah! Thank
Someone shut
you
up.
for telling me passwords are bad. I get it.
I know.
What's yelling at you?
Oh, Chrome. It's like, hey, I
Oh.
noticed your password manager has passwords in it. You should password manage passwords.
I know.
Silly device.
Alright, shall we move on?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Nice string. I like it. It's good.
Oh no, is it humans?
It's humans
Humans.
from
But
the
really good and cute humans, so.
from the My Little Horse Girl show.
I don't know how to human.
Open up your eyes. Eyes. Wait.
Open.
This is by Mr. Birkenwall, and it's called Prom Night. I found it difficult to find an interesting way to have a background which the characters take up so much of the frame, or when the characters take up so much of the frame. Also not sure how the prom light turned out. Thanks, and hope humans aren't too scary. Words.
Okay,
God,
okay.
I'm done. We're done with words.
Show's canceled. We're done.
Now there's just eyes on Sunset's mane.
Yeah. The disco light is working. They're just little specks of light that just sort of cast everywhere, right? I don't know, when was the last time you guys saw a disco ball?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Never.
Never.
1999, probably.
Yeah, back in elementary
Primary
school
school.
dances.
For that year.
Yeah. I know.
That would have been like 96 then.
Gosh, I wish you were here because I'd want to ask what kind of reference you were using. Because usually,
Mm.
if I'm having a lot of trouble, I'd like to refer to a reference, especially with humans, since personally it's something I still struggle with. And humans are just hard. There's a lot to keep in mind. All those limbs are wibbly wobbly. You can simplify them, of course, but
Mm.
I don't know how to human. What am I doing?
The Twilight's arm has definitely been broken. You've given her 3 joints along it. And that's not like... There's 2 joints across your arm. You got your...
I don't think I don't think it's too bad. I think it just needs to be a little bit more sort of defined on the outside. It's like,
Well,
have like a definite sort of shoulder, definite sort of elbow somewhere in about there. And you can do like weird stuff for the hand.
sorry,
That's
with
fine.
the length of a forearm, your forearm's only as long as your... Like, this is as long as that in your
Yeah,
arm.
it's definitely.
But then they've gone ahead and curved at where the Sunset's hand is.
Yeah, like the issue with that is that this should be like foreshortened because this is like facing directly on with the camera. Like if this is a cylinder, it's just like right on with us, whereas this is more like going into the distance. But that's something that just like doing some figure drawing and that sort of stuff will help with for sure. Getting a good sense of that.
Sunset's head shape is a little bit off.
So
Sorry?
what's bothering me with Sunset's head shape? Not so much the head shape, but I think the head is too far down. I made a selection and I can't unmake it, so I can't draw.
I think if you just
I
hit
just
control or control
just
A.
did it. I did it.
Okay, proud of you.
So it's like
Yeah,
I'm imagining her neck would connect here, so it would do this. Because the neck connects to the back of the head.
Mm.
This is a
Why
very...
am I using yellow?
It's a
on the
bold
yellow
picture.
pair?
Definitely separated from what you normally are doing, and this is... It's nice to see.
humans are hard. Like they're a jump from pony. Not that that's a bad thing at all. Like they're different. There's a lot more to dig into there.
Just gonna make the
Hmm.
critiquers go, humans. There's humans.
Every time.
If you look at the head over here and Twilight's head, the little dip is kind of where the eye is. The eye is kind of situated somewhere like in this dip, whereas with Sunset, it's kind of a little. It just feels a little bit low, a little bit small for it. But yeah, this little sketchy thing here is really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait, is this my layer? Why can't I delete the layer?
Alright, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Alright. We'll save CPC from the humans.
Thank you.
The human.
That was not the humans that was scaring me at the end, was that I was somehow able to erase a thing I didn't think I drew.
Alright, this is by Spoopy Girl. And they got weird looking horns, y'all.
Yeah. I thought this was embroidered for a sec. It's all interesting.
I do like the idea of using an ice cream cone as a horn. It's
Yes.
both adorable and delicious.
Did they give us any questions?
No.
Interesting.
Except for they got weird looking horns, y'all.
What's that middle horn supposed to be? I just can't see with the red.
That's what's on
red
the
is
original
the
drawing.
I thought that was us. My bad.
Maybe it's some type of gem. I'm not quite sure. I always like ponies with the cat face. I don't know why. Maybe it's because ponies are cats. Just not quite sure. It is
They're
adorable.
secretly cats.
That is like some alley claw level of mane going on the left horse there.
I
It's just-
appreciate it and I respect you.
I couldn't imagine how much conditioner it would take to deal with that thing.
Magic.
That's like the Dazzlings at the start of the second movie. They just like
Yes.
pull their hoods back, and it's just.
How did all that fit inside your hoodie? I don't care about your singing magic anymore. I want to know how you managed to fit all that. into
Listen,
your hoodie.
everyone knows that fluffy manes are a secret hammer space, and and now they have spatial magic like the TARDIS. That means they can use it outwards as well as inwards.
Yep. Confirmed here. You heard it here first, folks.
Hello, Zai. Good morning.
Hello, why are we? We're in an Aggie. This is confusing.
It's because you guys asked for an Aggie last time.
Did we?
Yes.
Yeah, during this stream.
It was ages ago. It was Saturday.
I don't remember that at all.
4 days.
Yeah. It's because it was like last year in quarantine times.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I seriously don't remember that conversation happening.
It's okay,
We all
Zom, I
freaked
remember.
out. We all freaked out because there was transformation tools and copying images into the Aggie.
Yeah,
and then
I
we had-
remember that, but I didn't remember that us saying we should do the streams with it.
It's alright. Let's just do the stream.
So something I'm just going around kind of doing for like the front facing pone and the 3/4 looking pone, big hair, these two and these peachy colored lines. I'm just adding a bit of a cheek poof. It's maybe more of a personal choice. I know the show does more of a perfectly round circle, but I find usually it helps accentuate the form of the pony and accentuate the cuteness. Just have that round little. It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be huge. Just the slightest little curve to give like a
I
little.
think all of us except LD do that.
I do it.
So it's definitely like a popular choice amongst most artists, I think.
LD hasn't converted to the cheek.
I don't know, maybe
Chic
he
style.
does. I think he's, I don't know. I'm trying to remember all the LD art I've seen in my lifetime, and like a lot of it's like show style, I think. But
Cheek.
LD can answer this question by drawing us a masterpiece right now.
What? No.
Draw my OC for free.
And mine.
I don't believe you're an artist. You need to draw a drawing of my OCD for me to believe it.
It's true. I'm not an artist. There we go.
Otherwise, I'll make a beware on you.
Oh
Zai,
no.
you're off the hook.
Call that post.
Whenever you say beware, I think of the Pokemon for some reason.
Anyway,
Just hugging.
Moving on.
shall we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just practice head shapes. Look at other people's art and try redrawing it. Looks good.
Oh God!
I'm very
Cover
sorry.
your mouth. We don't want to get
I
the
did.
virus.
We all got corona now. It's over.
Oh, that's alright. We'll all. I forgot where I was going with the sentence. Nothing's alright. Ah.
All right, this is by Iconic Bun, and it's Meat Blueberry Sap by me.
Well, hello, Blueberry.
They don't appear to have any questions.
We like to be asked questions. It helps us to critique.
Yeah.
We want to know the best ways we can help you and how you want to improve.
Those eyes are ginormous.
Even for a pony.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's one of the CMC, like that sort of small horse, they were quite large, like half the size of a head easily. I just think we might want to scale these down just a little bit so it doesn't overcrowd the ear and doesn't overcrowd the muzzle.
I might need to switch web browsers because I'm lagging a bit, but I'll try my best here. So this is, I know the Showstar doesn't do this. They break the laws of physics with their eyes, and when they look to the side, they're exactly the same eyes as from the front, like completely exactly the same, which they really shouldn't be because heads are 3D and eyes are 3D. They are both spheres. The head is a sphere with two holes for two more spheres to be inside of it, and they can move around, and those are eyes. What we're seeing is, from here, it's a side view, as best as I can draw it in right now. So, and I wouldn't look exactly like it would from the front. Right now, you can see like the ear is like here, and it goes over where the eye is, and like in fact, the eye takes up like most of the face. If you look at CPC's, is that CPC? Or is that Ali?
The
The
yellows.
yellow, yeah, the yellow lines. I thought it looked like your star. Down here, mine's the same, just more pushed towards like side view. CPC's is more sort of like in the style you've done, but with
I
more
tried to
correct
keep
proportions.
it in the style.
Yeah,
Quite
so that
thick.
way you can see two different like interpretations. If you want to keep it the same way that you do it, then that's fine. You can follow like CPC style. Mine is more an example of sort of how to understand the 3D aspects, because you don't have to take that in completely, but it always helps to understand. You got to know the rules before you can break them.
Something I quick did, I just altered your tail just a bit more. Instead, I pulled up where the tail comes out. I had it come out more fluidly from the back itself because as we talk about, the tail usually the tail is part of the backbone, so it'll have this. Let me get a better color really quick. It's the same color. It's red. We'll just go red. Everything. No, okay. Okay, there, red. So the backbone, you get the neck to the spinal, and then the tail. The tail is part of that spinal cord. So I just poked it up just a little bit. The other thing is put the tail between the legs. It won't go in front of any other leg because if you look at a pony, say from top down, you'll notice their hips are very like they're very wide. Horses have like a wide stance. And if you really want to look at horses, they got big butts. They're very big bony butts, and I don't know how to say it other than that.
That's true.
So it would most likely fall between the legs instead of being in front of the pony.
All right, shall we move on?
Let's do it.
Come on, mouse. Come with me. There you go.
I'm
What
here.
do you want CPC to do?
What do you want, CPC?
Everyone,
What do you want CPC to do?
there you go.
What do you want me to do?
Want you to when I put my tablet mouse over the screen to stay there when I move it.
Right.
Doesn't
Stay.
seem to.
Mouse, stay.
Are you telling yourself to stay?
Just gonna sit on. I'm just gonna
Sit on
become a
CPC's
cat
screen.
and sit on the LD
Yes.
screen.
Squeak. Unrelated, but sometimes I really struggle with is painting rocks in the background.
Painting
I feel
rocks is
that.
tricky.
Yeah.
The thing with that I find with ground and rocks is that there's so much texture going on, but it's such not super large textures. It's very detailed, fine stuff that's kind of like enough to make it seem like it's not a one face color, but it's not like anything bold.
Rocks sort of fall in that weird way with a lot of things where it's like it sort of feels like you can understand what's going on with the rock and why it is shaped the way it is and how the curves move, because they're very bold and deliberate, but at the same time it's like really hard to figure out how to actually represent that in terms of shape, especially when it comes to big things like cliffs and stuff like that. Like one time I just used it.
Hmm.
I cheated because it's of course it's cheating, haha. And I used a brush that just makes cliffs.
Banned.
Because how dare I use a resource?
Double
Nah,
banned.
not allowed to. Only allowed to use soft round brush, and that's it. Really.
Yeah, not even a hard brush.
Nope.
No.
How are you supposed to do light art?
Carefully.
Don't.
You don't.
Carefully.
Line art's not real art.
Yeah,
Line
it's
art is cheating.
You can't
it's
cheat and have
it's
outline.
also it's also pretty difficult to draw a convincing background if the character hasn't been designed with kind of like a perspective in mind.
Mm.
If you're just like drawing the character off nothing, sometimes it can like look
Yeah, that is very
strange and
true.
weird.
That is very true.
So, this is posted by future Googler maybe. A pony version of my little niece. She loves parties in space, so I combine the two. Background is purposely
Aw.
rough. I find it cute for some reason.
Heck yeah, I like the
Well,
background. That's good.
the entire premise is cute.
Yeah.
I think it's a very sweet idea and it's a very cute drawing.
I
I
mean,
do sort of like the minimalistic coloring. Like, we can tell that it's a hill and a sky, even though it's just like a white space with a single squiggly line going through it. Like, it's obviously the sky, and you got the stars, and it's very nice. Sorry, Ellie, you were about to say something.
no, it's fine.
Probably the thing that you could look at is when you draw, having things be different can be really good. Like these two Bakus are the same in the same pose. These two front hooves are in a similar pose, and even doing something small like having a pony here, and then having like one hoof like this, and then the other hoof like slightly forward can be cool. Or like if you want to have like one hoof like slightly up, and then do something similar for the back hooves. Have one like this, have one like stood forward a little bit. Just create some sort of dynamic stuff. Be a little bit more interesting to look at. That can sort of help you out in general. I think as CPC is drawing here, just refining head shapes, taking a look at how other people draw them, looking at sort of, whereabouts do I want to position my ears, how does a muzzle call, all that sort of stuff. Just keep going, just keep drawing. Draw
Yeah.
lots. This is a really good start. I like it.
Something I'll mention is I'm totally fine with the telescope. The telescope. That's the word. I'm totally fine with the telescope being super simple. I think this is actually a great opportunity to work with simple shapes. The something I would point out is, so you have this big dark circle right here at the end of the telescope. That's informing me that the telescope is pointing in this direction when your whole setup here is pointing that direction. So just be careful about how things end. Something really easy to figure out is like this telescope here is basically like a toilet paper roll, or like a paper towel roll. It's just going to be a simple circle, circle, and you connect those two, and you have a cylinder. And basically what we were looking at now, instead of having that big dark circle there, we're going to get rid of this back line here, and then that circle will be facing that way. And that just keeps the flow of the 3D shape, going in the right direction, and we can keep in mind that 3D volume and which direction it's pointing, and then we can keep everything kind of in the same order. So it's just using simple shapes to build into more complex shapes, and that can be used for so much in art. That is art. That is the base of drawing pretty much anything. Simple shapes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, shall we move on to our next one?
Yeah.
Oh. There it goes. All right, it's Twilight. Finding a sunbeam to sleep in.
A moonbeam.
That's precious.
This is by Discord Dovich. Sleeping book horse is in its natural habitat. Would love critique and advice on shadows, especially the body ones.
I saw
First
this one
thing,
in Discord earlier.
I miss the treehouse library. It was
Yeah.
such a cozy place. The Crystal Castle is cold.
So I go decorate with blankets and pillows.
We've just covered the thing in 60,000 pillows. All the floors are pillows. All the walls are
I mean,
blankets.
not literally just like covering, but like just make the rooms fun. Build little forts and little places in the rooms. Little space. And she's gonna have like a little corner of the library that has like a little sort of like blanket on the floor and some little curtains and some pillows strewn around to make a little reading corner.
I much prefer the idea of you open the door and you're just carried away by a tsunami of pillows.
I mean, that's just a plushie fort. So I really like your attempt at the lighting here. Like you've really pushed for that like from above like situation. You haven't just like I can see you sort of tried to bend it around like the book and around her face, and it's not just like, you know, I see a lot of artists being like, oh, here's the light source, and it's literally just like a white shape. So some nice effort put into this.
Hmm.
I think maybe we'll just push the lighting a little bit further onto her horn, just to match as I do this thing. I'm trying to get used to my tools on the Aggie. I'm used to us tackling with draw pile. Let me do it with your color. If I can select that, okay. Where's my coloring pen? Okay. Probably increase this a little bit just to give it the same sort of feel that the rest has. If I look at the top and I'm like, Fluffy's a raccoon, Cute Pencil Case Mouse, is he Pixie Nobosi, is he Aliclaw Lion? I wonder who the anonymous cat is by process of elimination.
Meow. I do like the minimal amount of reflected light. You haven't gone over the top with it. You've given a bit to Twilight. I would, if you're going to give the bit of reflected light to Twilight, I would go ahead and carry the rest of that along to the books. Like this. Oh my gosh, that was the wrong button. What did I just click? This button here, or this book here, would totally have just some light streaming across it. And it wouldn't be much, but it you could just emphasize that with just the littlest bit of a shadow hanging from behind it. Same with these guys. Like if they're all to cast a shadow away from that light source, it would add into the first level of reflected light. That's what I'm looking for. I think that's about my only critique that hasn't been done already. I wanna boop her. Wake up.
I'd be interested to see your construction for the head, especially for kinds of these eyes. Like if what I tend to do is I tend to do the sphere, do kind of the cross for like, you know, show where they're facing, and then kind of map out the eyes so that they're like a similar sort of. They take up a similar amount of space. Like in your original, the goes all the way over here, which is just a little bit too far. It's sort of going into the side of the head a little bit too much. And maybe experiment a little bit with the muzzle shape. I think someone did some like super crazy shading here.
I can
But, like-
turn it on and off.
But yeah,
we
it's
can actually
very
do that on draw pile on Aggie.
it's very solid, which is super cool because it teaches you a bunch about how things are shaped and that sort of stuff. But
I
it
just
can
rounded
be
off
really
a
good
bit.
to- yeah, round it
'Cause
off.
they aren't. The boxes are a good start, but they're not round.
Just an approximation. You need to take the approximation and make it your own.
The thing I see a lot is places like you had it in the muzzle too. Where's my pen? Places like here, you'll have the light right up to the edge, while the leg would actually do something like this. So the brightest point should be here, not right at the edge. That makes sense. I hope so.
Yeah.
I did the same with the ear, where the brightest point is around here and not over here. It makes things more round. Round is squishy.
When you're looking at shapes like the hair and that sort of stuff, something that I like to focus on is kind of like the overall shape. Like very, very simplified Twilight's hair is kind of like boom, boom, boom. It's this sort of like cut off triangle shape. And when I draw the hair, I tend to like to keep that sort of thing, you know, really big over here, really small over here. And it just helps it look a little bit more like Twilight. So it can be good to experiment. Just experiment and try stuff out, and yeah.
Try everything. I like the variety of accents with Alia. I don't think any of us share like a nationality here, so that is kind of fun.
Mm. Whereabouts are you from, LD?
Canada.
Canada. Oh Jesus. Okay.
That's why he says sorry so much.
Sorry about that. All right, let's move on to the next one. I'll take silence as a yes.
Yeah.
It always is.
No, it is not.
I mean, sometimes a yes is a yes, but
No means no.
the
That's
silence.
the last thing we need right now.
All right, this is by news reporter Brisk. So I redrew that 2018 picture, but improved / remade. 2018
Nice.
picture. Yes, we do like to see you redraw pictures. I'm just looking up their 2018 one. One moment. Oh, it's the one that they said so cringy. It's not cringy to art. Just draw pictures and have fun.
Mm-hmm. Cringe is dead.
It's cringy to make people feel bad about doing stuff that they enjoy that doesn't harm others. There you go.
Love it. Support.
Art is
Yeah.
great and wonderful, and you are doing a wonderful thing by making this really cute, beautiful piece.
But also major improvement. Comparing it to your last one, holy cow, improvement.
Share with the class.
Your ponies are so tall.
I will fire it into our VC then.
Also, I absolutely agree, Pixie. That picture is exactly the vibe I'm getting.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's hard to see my lines on top of this. What color can I use? Maybe a really dark one. This is why I make a fade layer.
Bruh. I gotta
Bri-
represent America with my bro and my bra.
What
I
are
also
you on?
apologize on behalf of my entire country. I'm so sorry.
It's all good. We love you. Don't worry.
How do I do this? No, that's not. Mm, yes, there we go.
Oh wow, yeah, this is such an improvement. This is really great. You should be proud of this.
Mm-hmm.
Why did everything become yellow?
Super good.
Me, it's my fault. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. Aggie's like 3 steps behind what I'm actually doing because it's like slow. Uh, active layer, white.
I want to hear 0 complaints out of you. None. We switched programs.
I like this program more.
Apparently, it works on a cell phone.
You need a big cell phone.
Doesn't Inky have like a note? Like the ones with
He
the.
used to. One of the older ones, like the Note 5.
He should crack that thing out again and just use it for
We
Aggie.
have screen layers. That's so helpful.
See, this is why we use this program and not draw file.
Yeah. Oh, that's so much more helpful than just white. Okay. now we can draw. I can turn it off if we need to, and it'll actually turn it off for everybody. Okay.
We can hear you, Gallon.
Test.
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 So something that pokes out to me right away is we have a little bit of a poop tail issue going on, and it's very common in drawing ponies. Sometimes the tail just gets placed a little too low. So we have yours coming out over here, right? So if we look at what a tail is, where the tailbone is, the tailbone's connected to the spinal cord. I talked about it in a few ponies ago, but essentially we have, you know, the
ponies
neck
ago.
that goes into the spinal cord and then out.
Oops.
Keeps messing with things.
Sorry, it's I was on the wrong goal.
So we have the neck, the spinal cord that would go out, and then the tail will pop out like right up top here, maybe even a little higher. That's about where a tail will come out. It's called a dock, for those wondering. That's what the official term is, I believe. But basically where you put your tail is about where the butthole would be, so that's why I got the nickname Poop Tail, because, you know, only so much comes out of that area. But yeah, if you bring it up and kind of get the feel for along the back here, usually I like to have that as a shooting off point, and especially if you team up with the spinal cord, you'll get yourself a nice little, nice little fleshy part, the dock, and then you can then bring your curly, luxurious, fluffy, curly mane, which I do love. I love how the curls and it pokes out. And you just have fun swooshing it from there.
I'm sort of trying to keep to your like sort of thin-legged, elegant style, but like the legs should become larger and thicker towards the bottom, towards the hooves, with pony style. And you just don't want the legs to look like cardboard tubes, because it would be too stiff to walk on, and normally the legs bend, they have joints, and they're not going to be like stuck at exactly straight angles. This pony is sort of standing straight up, so it sort of makes sense. But at the very least, they're going to be sort of in a relaxed standing pose. Usually, I like to draw the front legs together, especially if I'm sort of trying to create this like elegance that you've got going on, or at least the front legs together, not the back legs. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. It's absolutely fine. I think it goes well with the way the character looks, makes them look cool, cute, and proper. And it sort of accentuates that sort of like elegant, long-legged style. But I do think that they would have sort of at least a little bit thicker hooves that you don't have to go nuts. But they've got to have something to stand on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that they don't fall over. The taller you are, the more your center of gravity is going to move around and need supporting. I also moved the hawk down a bit.
Plus, it takes a lot of space to create the localized gravity device that allows them to pick up and hold things without fingers. Are you drawing socks on them? Oh,
They
they
already
have
have
socks on them.
Yeah. Which is funny, given like the paper color and like the stripes on them, it just sort of made it look even more like cardboard tubes.
I thought that's the style they were going for before
Yeah.
I realized, oh wait, they're socks. The cool thing about having the striped socks is that you can also do the contour lines on them really easily. Like I've drawn down here. You see how like they change shape around here because there's like a little bit of a bump out here, and there's like a little bit of a pinch here, so it all comes in a little bit more and that sort of stuff. It's really cool when you can like work patterns in, because you can really show off the way that things are twisting and bending and
Yeah,
make it really obvious.
that's me with snakes.
Sneaky snake.
It's a minefield for tangents, but yeah, it helps a lot with showing like the way the body's turning and moving, twisting.
All right, shall we move on to our next one?
Okay.
Embroider doesn't appear to be in our voice chat. I don't know if they can hear us. They did just submit a picture. They're just asking about the light source and if it makes any sense.
Delight sauce. That's Pinkie Pie.
The Pinkie Pie's a light source?
She's
No,
she's
it's a
delight
delight.
sauce.
Oh.
She's a source of delight.
What about the heavy sauce?
That's what a cheeseburger is. Well, let's be honest. That's what poutine
That
is.
would be Bok biceps. He's pretty heavy.
Y'all should have poutine.
It's all that muscle.
Poutine. All right, we're gonna
like this angry flower that's been drawn.
we're gonna do our next picture by ML Gamer Dudes, and we'll go on to embroidered equations. How's that sound?
Are you gonna say MLG aimer, dude?
Yes, I was.
You're like, wait, no, that's what the G is.
Yeah. Happy early vinyl and Octi Day. Is that a thing? Is
Oh,
there?
I didn't know that was coming up. I have a princess plushie.
Do you have both of them in a plushie?
Yes.
Nice.
Sparkly horses.
I'm pretty sure you should use the vinyl to hold your headphones. That makes sense to me, at least.
Yeah, because the vinyl would improve the audio quality.
Yep.
obviously.
Yeah, she knows how to fine tune those.
All right. First thing, yeah, ears.
Yeah, that was like the first thing that popped out. Since the hair isn't covering the way like how this other ear is, you'll definitely see the ear on the other side. An easy way to test this is just draw a straight line, and if the hair doesn't cover up where the straight line hits, then you draw the other ear, because it's going to be about the same height unless they're doing very different things like being down or whatever.
Yeah, you can totally do the ear up and ear down, but then you're still going to see it out the side most of the times. Unless if they have like half of an ear eaten off. Looking at you, Oh. He went for a tumble.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
So. You have a very interesting style going on with your eyes. Usually, a rule that I like to stick to with eyes is that they sort of start at this. I need a different color. So start at this point of the nose bridge and go outwards. This is the bridge of the nose between the eyes, of course. I think looking at your picture, I'm sort of like, why did Vinyl get glasses shaped like this, and her eyes are like the completely like flipped shape of the glasses?
What I did was just layer the body in more parts, because it was just kind of a circle where the legs connected to. Instead, I gave her more of a chest, then a middle part, and then the back part here. So 3 sections instead of 2. And then
Wait,
the
why-
fluff would follow the chest, and then you can have more fluff following the belly area, but it would be separate clumps. Just add,
What?
you can add all the fluff.
Yes. What has my pony face turned into down here?
It's definitely like a sprite or
Are
something.
they a wisp?
Yep.
Yeah.
A
They're like a
ghost.
giant hair, or what is it?
I think it's a long beard.
Why is the mouth at the side of their mouth? what is happening on my pony face? Everyone's graffitiing at once.
This is how art is actually made.
Aggie is also doing that thing that it was doing during our stream, where it's like cutting out stuff, so those ears are literally like dotted lines. It's
Yeah,
very interesting
I
looking.
can barely see the sprite.
Yeah, we just need to refresh every now and then, which is annoying.
I do like the fidelity you've done on the vinyl. You must have gone from a lot larger picture and compressed it, because I can actually see the compression artifacts that happen on the rings of it. It's interesting. It does this outwards wave, and it's just because they're not good at compressing circles. It's cool. It's really cool.
I'd make her headphones bigger, because those won't fit on her head.
Mm. And again, fitting like overhead headphones on a pony, like the human shaped ones that they have in the show, just like don't work. They would have like a much shorter like band.
Yeah, but you can still have a big enough like
Yeah.
ear part, because the ear part you drew won't even
Yeah.
fit.
No, I
human
agree with
ear.
that. I agree with that. Yeah, headphones on ponies would look something like this at the very most, and then there would have to be something like one with the bar like behind the ears, I guess. But I don't know, it's weird. But what I did when I was drawing Fine Line was I had the headphones like the sort of muff of the headphones be here, and then they had like a little like wire going into the ear, and they had like an in-ear thing. So the one on the side of the head is just like a muff to like keep it clamped to the head. Cody Ingenuity, making products that look like they're for giant bipedal monkey creatures and not for ponies.
All right. Shall we move on to our next one?
There's
Yes.
the next one.
Yeah, embroidered. We gotta paste it in.
It's like I feel like I've looked at the whole page and I don't see anything.
We've got to make a drawing and then critique it.
Yeah, good one, Solder. I'm excited to see some more stuff. It'd be
Yeah.
cool to see. I don't know if we have before, but it would be cool to see some traditional, some more sketchy stuff, some stuff that's less clean from you, because this is like really super clean and accurate and vector and yeah, but let's see some of your breakdowns and your working, the stuff you work with. And that sort of thing.
Do you got any other questions for us before we move on to embroidered? Okay.
All good.
There's questions.
Sorry.
Sorry,
No
I'm just reading
questions.
back
All good.
to see if there's any questions, because I was not paying attention to the Discord.
It's alright. I'm paying attention for you,
Thank you.
including to your own PMs. Dun dun dun.
Did they send a PM?
No.
The secret.
Oh.
Oh, he's a zombie. He is above all of this sort of.
Alright, so our last picture submitted today is by Embroidered Equations, and they're just asking about.
Wonder who that is.
They're asking. They haven't added in the dark shadows in the back, but does the light source make sense at this time? And I'd say mostly. You're almost there. You've still failed to keep it consistent. Things like. Sorry, I'm just running off on this one. Things like the drop shadow that would happen around this main here, because it appears your light source is like viewer towards the viewer top left-handish corner. Maybe?
I'm seeing 2 light sources. I'm seeing one over here and one over here.
Except for, I think this one that you did over here would actually be further down because that would justify how the shadows are dropping around the legs.
But then what about the hair?
Like a very bright one up here. So I think this is either a failure of the positioning of a light source or referencing of it, or just communication that there is multiple light sources. You'll find often in photography, when you do multiple light sources, you'll actually be doping them with colors. And the reason you often do that is because you get to better show off, or you get a blend color live, and it helps give a more interesting depth to when you're taking those images of people. It's kind of hard to show. There's a bunch of great apps to show off the multiple colored light sources. We got a few of them on our subreddit on the sidebar under exterior guides. You'll find them. I'd suggest looking at them. It's just like live lighting, and it does it for a human, but it's easy to bring that on over to a small horse.
It's really cool to look at basic photography blog posts and YouTube videos and that sort of stuff about lighting and all that sort of thing, because they can show off some like really interesting ways of lighting up stuff that shows off the form. Like the main and probably like the only purpose of lighting is to like sort of illustrate the form, like to show off. Where am I? No, I'm over here. With this leg, when you do like the lights on it, the light should sort of show off the curve of it, like show off explicitly that this is a cylinder sort of a shape, and when you light up this sort of an area, the light should show off that this is like a bit of a sphere shape and that sort of stuff.
I think the other purpose of lighting can also be to show an atmosphere and to build that. But when you're just drawing a pony that's in a like void of a scene, this character isn't in a scene of any kind. They're just on their own in a void because you're just doing a pin-up of the character. In that case, yes, the purpose of the lighting is really to show the form. But it's sort of why I like cell shading as well, because it's like, even if it's just like the starting point and then you go into soft after that, but like it really helps you just sort of break down the block forms of a character rather than just airbrushing on and trying to get it to look right. So that's actually how I do my soft shadings. Actually start with cell shading, and I completely cell shade the character, and then I'll go through and I think I started off using the blend tool, but then I actually used I used the smooth watercolor brush in Clip Studio. And I'll just go through and just like very controlled start blurring the edge, and for like areas that are sort of smaller or tighter or closely cast shadow and stuff like that, it'll be a very soft, a very gradual minimal blurring, and then areas that like sort of like the big round parts of the leg and stuff like that will have a much softer, broader, but you get to go over with control and just sort of gradually blur everything to the extent that it needs to be, but you've already got the sort of the basic form of the character built with the cell shading.
Something that I'd recommend doing is just do a bunch of light and value sketches, and just draw a bunch of like fairly simple pony poses, and spend 5 minutes on each one just blocking out roughly sort of where the lighting would be, and then just do that a bunch. It's kind of, it sort of feels like you're at the point where you're like understanding a lot of the stuff that you need to position lights well. You just need to crank out some practice with it. Just try a bunch of different stuff.
I love the idea of drawing for like experimentation and just seeing what you can do and practicing with how just how different forms work, and it's like let's just draw a bunch of different eyes and experiment with ways that eyes work and how I can interpret those, and yeah, just sorts of experimental drawing, not like trying to finish anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You
Something
can do some draw-alongs for it as well.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. But just another method I was gonna suggest is instead of adding the shadow, something I also like to do is apply shadow to the entire figure and carve out the light. Sometimes it makes more sense to carve it out where it's all hitting instead of filling every bit that'll have shadow. So up here I just made a ball. Oh wait, it's too high. Wait, I can move it. We have tools. I have tools.
I can also just move the canvas, Allie. Your call.
Okay, move the canvas.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, maybe. There we go. He'll appear eventually.
Maybe. So basically, I have this ball. I took off the layer. This is the purple ball I'm using. I'd put another layer on top of it, a multiply layer or something, whatever layer you used for shading, and I'll add just whatever color my shadows are gonna be. And what I can do is then I can outline the form. Now I don't have my eraser set up. I'd like to have a soft eraser and a hard eraser for this point. But what I can do is I can carve out the light, like, okay, this is a ball, so it's gonna hit the surface a certain way, and it makes it easier for me to find the form. For me, it makes it easier to find, okay, this is the point the light's gonna hit, instead of filling in all the points that the light's not gonna hit. So this is just an option, and there's no blur tool here in this program, is there? No, there's not. So you can play around with that and do it that way as well, because that sometimes makes things a little less confusing when you have multiple light sources, because you're pulling out bit by bit where stuff will hit and the curves it'll make and like the way it'll go around the forms, because you'll find that there's a lot of nooks and crannies the shadows are going to be in, and it just might be easier to point out where the light's going to hit instead of where the shadows will be.
Down just underneath.
That's something I like doing as well.
Yeah, down just underneath, I got like a little thing. You can start off with midtones, and then add the light on top and add the shade on top, and that can sometimes be really cool.
Yeah, it depends how you're coloring, really.
That's why like you'll see like people using tan sketchbooks, or mid-tone sketchbooks or newsprint, because the thing that they're drawing on is kind of this grayish color, and you can add dark values on top of that, but you can also add light values on top of it. So it makes it a little bit easier to, when you can like explicitly pull things back and pull things forward.
All right. Anyone else have any art they'd like to submit? Any other questions they'd like to ask?
Any other ponies they want to hug?
Any other CPCs they'd like to give cupcakes to?
I also have a shading question regarding my own picture. I think I've done mostly a good job. There's just a few specific parts I'm unsure of. Can you submit that picture? Or just ask in vague descriptions.
Yeah, we can redraw it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Make it faster, stronger, swooshier.
So many swishies.
Did we go over your
Yes, we did. It was the humans.
Yeah, we did.
That's fine. We can do another one. Oh, I can.
No, they're Mr. Brickenwall was just wondering if we did theirs.
Oh, okay. I thought Flair also submitted the human one.
On the top of the main.
Yeah. If you look on YouTube about 10 seconds after we finish, it's usually uploaded on there. Because
it's like 40 minutes, really. It takes a while to process.
If it's not in 10 seconds, then hammer down LD's door, have a go.
To fly to Canada.
Yeah.
Good luck
Bring
with
your
that
water
one.
balloons and throw them at him.
To be honest, just having a go at LD is fun regardless. You don't need a reason. It's all good.
It's just
Are
an
you-
excuse, really.
Are you trying to get people to fight me?
What?
Throw water balloons out. That's not fighting. Not unless you throw them back and then it's a water balloon fight.
Draw him art. Make an art fight. We started a month earlier this year.
Art fight, art fight. I'm so hype.
Very hype.
Fight
We're gonna
him.
be able to choose soon.
Galen, I'm excited to see the redraw.
Ooh, yeah, I love seeing redraws.
Horse. Ooh. Oh, that one. Oh.
Hmm?
It gonna be good.
All right. So, question about. Sorry, just going back over the question. I think I've done a mostly good job. There are just a few specific parts I'm unsure of about the shading. The specific part was mostly about the main. So your light source appears to be from behind and casting over. So why would the front? Yeah. Okay. Cool. I get you. I get you where you're coming from. All right. So you've curved your light the wrong direction up on this hair. If we take a ball and we are to cast light on said ball, do I have a ball? I only have 6mm balls around here. They don't work. Okay. I'm gonna pretend my fist is a ball. Sure. My suggestion is go grab a tennis ball, whatever type of ball you can grab. This is gonna be a lot easier to demonstrate if you have something around you. Shine a light on it. Your cell phone will have one. I can almost guarantee it. Shine a light on it and watch how it curves. It's actually going to curve like Allie has done, where it creates a crescent as opposed to like a crescent away from the light. So what we're going to get here is this to actually curve like this. Woo! That's going to give us some weird shot off towards that spike because that spike appears to be raised up a bit. But yeah, it's going to curve like that. Now, for the front of it, I think you've done it mostly right with your little wee over here. Like whatever this thing, that little spiky bit coming off there is. I just think we might have gone a bit overzealous on this area because we're only just going to be catching the edge of the light there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think really we'd just be getting a bit of shadow here, or a bit of highlighting there, not shadow. You can also just go crazy and drop shadows and highlights wherever you want and pew, 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 see how it goes. I also don't think the inside of this ear would get any just because the light's coming from behind. So I think
It's coming
well based
from
on
almost that. Yeah, they just made a little comment on there. It's basically coming from this direction and just tilted a little bit to the background, not quite as much as in the box.
okay. Then I still think we would do away with from the inside of the ear, but for the most part we'd just take what we just went over and slightly turn it. Maybe stretch it out a bit.
Mm.
And I'd also say don't forget the eyes. The eyes get shadow too, especially because there's these big white globes. They get like instantly taken to because it's like, oh, glowing horse, eyes, white. White is very, unless there's red there, your eyes are gonna go to the white. And the thing with the eyes are they're mostly in shadow, and also they're also curved. They're not flat surfaces, so there's gonna be a little bit of like a ring of shadow somewhere. You get the eye shines. The eye shines are definitely picked up, but there's still also shadows within the eyes.
I like how the wing looks. The wing looks good. With the head thing, what I like to do when I'm doing up my lighting is I like to draw my contour lines all across whatever I'm drawing, because then my lighting basically almost directly just like follows the contour lines in a lot of cases, or at least the contour lines really help me understand the form and sort of how light's gonna fall across it. So it can be good to really do that sort of thing. Maybe, possibly.
Yeah, so keep going. You're doing a
Yeah.
great job.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shall anyone else have any other questions they'd like to ask? Any other art they'd like to submit? Any other YCH commissions they'd like to send over to CPC?
Oh, I see. That's a lot of contour lines. Oh, that's cool. That's really good. Keep doing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really good.
Going once. Going twice. Sold to the lowest bidder. All right. Well, thank you all for coming, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.